All right, so today we're going to look at factoring trinomials by grouping. So what you'll see here is that you have a polynomial with 3 terms, and we're going to factor it just like we've been doing, okay? But there's going to be a few extra steps added on. So our first thing we ask is there a GCF? So you always want to make sure before you factor, if you have a GCF, if you have one, you want to make sure you factor that out. And if you don't have one, you're just going to keep going like normal. Okay, so what's going to happen here is you're going to have an expression that's in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. This is our standard form of a polynomial. Okay, so our first thing that we're going to do, we're going to multiply whatever our a and our c value is, and then we're going to make a list of factors using the table, okay, which I'm going to show you how to use that table. Okay, then your goal is to find the 2 numbers that multiply to give you your a and c value, but then add to give you your b value. Again, it'll multiply to give you your a and c value, but then add to give you your b value. Okay. Then when I find those 2 numbers, I'm going to replace my b. That will be called splitting the middle. So you're going to be making it a 4-term polynomial. And we've seen 4-term polynomials, and we know that once we have that, we can group it and find a GCF from each part like we've been doing yesterday. And then that'll be your final answer. Okay, so let's look at an example. Probably sounds a little bit confusing so far, but I promise if you follow along to the end, you should get it. So I first want to look at what is my A, my B, and my C equal to. So my A is 3, my B is 5, and my C is 2. Okay. So I want to find the 2 numbers that multiply to give me my AC, but then add to give me my B. So when I do AC, that's going to be our 8 times C, that's going to be equal to 6. So I want my 2 numbers that multiply to give me 6, but then add together to give me 5. So when I look at my table, I'm going to list my factors in this column. These are going to be all my potential options. But whatever I choose, it has to add up to give me 5. Okay. So my factors of 6 are 1 times 6. I have 3 times 2. And then also, we can consider our negatives, but not so much for this problem because we have a positive. So in some of the problems, you may have to do your negatives because I know 2 negatives multiply gives me a positive. So I'm going to just go ahead and list those as well. Okay, so I'm going to add these up. So I have 6 plus 1, that'll give us 7. I'll have 3 plus 2, that'll give me 5. So here's the 5 that I'm looking for, so I don't have to keep going, but I could if I wanted to. This will give me -7, and this will give me -5. So now that I know that these are the factors that I'm going to choose, I am ready to split my B, and I'm going to be replacing that with 3x, positive 3x, and 2x. Just a quick note, it does not matter which one you put first. If I put the 2x first and then the 3x, is going to work out the exact same. Then from here, I'm going to group it. So I'm just going to write that out here. And then as we've been doing yesterday, we're going to see our first set. And we're going to ask ourselves, what's our GCF? Our GCF is 3x. Then we know 3x times x will give us 3x squared, and then we know 3x times 1 will give us 3x. So I'm trying to see that inside part, and once I factor out that GCF, I'm just trying to see what can I multiply it by to get that number I started with. Okay, then my next part, my GCF between 2x and 2 is going to be 2. Then I know that 2x times, or 2 times x will give me 2x, and 2 times 1 will give me 2. So then from here, I'm ready to write my final answer. We have we have x plus 1 as a common factor. So we're ready to factor that out, and my final answer will be x plus 1 times 3x plus 2. Okay. So the thing with factoring is it's a lot of steps. They're very tedious steps, but I have faith in you that you can get this. We're going to be doing a lot of practice over the next few weeks. So if you feel like you're completely lost right now, it's all good. Just hopefully by the end of the video, you can kind of catch on. Okay. Also, it's a few calculator tricks. So if you want to ask me in class, because I did do it for my face-to-face students. So ask me in class to show you those few calculator tricks. All right, so my next one. We want to do A equal, B equal, C equal. My A is 1, my B is 8, my C is 7. Okay, I'm going to multiply my A times C, and I get 7. Because I did 1 times 7. I'm going to create my table if I need to. My goal is to find the two numbers that multiply to give me 7, but then add together to give me 8. Okay, so as some of you, you may not need the table. You may can think of the numbers super quick. And as some of you that may need it, which either way is fine. So I'm going to put my factors on this side, and I'm going to put my sum on this side. So I'm going to have my factors of 7. I have 1 times 7, and I have -1 times -7. Of course, I really don't need to consider the negatives here because everything is positive. So 1 plus 7 will be 8, and -1 plus -7 will be -8. So I need the one with +8, which is here. Okay, so I'm going to keep the x squared, and I'm going to keep the +7. Then I'm going to split the middle. So 8x is going to become x, +x plus 7x. And as I said before, you can write that in either order. It's going to work out the exact same. So then I'm going to go ahead and split or group it together. My GCF for the first set is x. My inside, I know that x times x give us x squared, and x times 1 give us x. Then here, I know that my GCF is 7, and 7 times x will give us 7x, and 7 times 1 will give us 7. Then I'm ready to write my final answer. I keep that here, so that's going to come down. So I have x plus 7, and then x plus 1. All right. Let's move on to our next one. So do we have a GCF? We don't have a GCF, so we can keep going. We have A equal, B equal, C equal. So I have 3, 7, and 2. So my AC is 6, because I multiplied 3 times 2, and I got 6. So my two numbers that multiply to give me 6 and add to give me 7, those factors are 1 times 6 and 3 times 2. We can also consider our negatives, but let's save a little time. So I'm looking for 7. As you see right here, 1 plus 6 will give us our 7. So we are good to go. Okay, so I'm going to keep 3x squared. I'm going to keep plus 2. In the middle, I'm going to replace my 7x with x and 6x. So from here, we're ready to group because we have 4 terms. Our greatest common factor here is x. We know x times 3x will give us 3x squared. We know x times 1 will give us x. Here, our GCF is going to be 2. We know 2 times 3x will give us 6x, and 2 times 1 will give us 2. So then I'm ready to write my final answer. I'm going to bring down that x plus 2, and then I'm going to have 3x plus 1. So my answer is x plus 2 times 3x plus 1. All right. Our next one, we have 7x squared plus 30x plus 8. So I'm going to do my A, B, and C. I have 7, 30, and 8. So here I'm going to have 56. Okay. So I'm going to write out my factors. This may be one you may want to actually list out your factors because it's quite a few factors for 56. So again, I'm looking for my numbers that multiply to give me 56, but then add to give me 30. Okay. So I have 1 times 56. I have 2 times 28. I have 4 times 14. I have 7 times 8. And that's it. Okay. So my sums will be 57. Here's my 30. So I'm good to go. I don't even have to keep going. Okay. So we're going to keep 7x squared. We're going to bring down positive 8. We're going to make 30x. 30x is going to become 2x plus 28x. We're ready to group. We find our GCF. Our GCF here is x. I'm going to have x times 7. X will give me 7x squared. X times 2 will give me 2x. Here, my GCF is going to be positive 4. I'm going to say 4 times 7x will give us 28x, and 4 times 2 will give us 8. And my final answer is going to be x plus 4 and 7x plus 2. All right. Then our last one. Notice here we have a negative number. It's still going to be the same concept, just a little bit different. So my A is 6, my B is negative 13, and my C is 6. I'm going to take my factors of, we got 6 times 6, that's 36. So my factors are going to be here, and my sum is going to be here. Okay, so my factors, I have to consider the negative numbers because my B is negative. So I know when I'm looking at 36, I have 1 times 36, I have 9 times 4, I have 6 times 6, I have a bunch of different factors for that. So to save some time, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that the factors are negative 9 times negative 4. You do want both of them to be negative. As we know, 2 negatives multiplied give us a positive. So we still have our positive AC value, but we'll have a negative B value. So that's going to give us our sum of 13. So we're going to keep 6x squared. We're going to bring down 6. We're going to replace. So we're going to have minus 9x minus 4x. Okay, we're going to group. Our GCF here is 3x. We know 3x times 2x will give us 6x squared. We know 3x times 3 will give us negative 9x. Here we're going to have negative 2. And then we know 2x times 2 will give us negative 4. And then we know negative 2x times Negative 3 will give us 6. And then my final answer, 3x minus 2 and 2x minus 3.